Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on The Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to The Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault.
$20 a week to lose 20% of your weight in a year with diet and exercise. That's the power of GLP-1s through Ro. Ro helps find the medication that's right for you, based on cost, availability, and your weight loss goals. Losing weight with GLP-1s is possible through Ro.
I'm Dave Knapp, man on the Mounjaro. That's why I'm here.
Big news for semaglutide.
I'm the most elusive of all the doses. So I have a couple theories, and I'm interested to hear yours. The first, who likes my Karnak hat?
Jokes about terzepatide.
You are on the pen.
Go get his book.
Welcome to the Plus Sides Podcast. We do need to paste.
If you noticed,
Yeah.
I have 10 of his books.
You have 10? Oh, because you give them out to
10.
people? Oh,
Yeah.
I love your heart. It makes me so happy. Oh, that's so exciting. I have one. I only have one because I keep telling him he's going to have to do audio. And here's the thing. If he wants to do audio, what he should do is have everybody read their story. Dave, are you here? Because I think that's what you should do. Anyway.
There's an audiobook people too.
I'm not. Well, I have the ADHD. I also dyslexic. So I'm an audio person.
I have a studio right here.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
I know. I'm in a studio
My
too.
husband's toy, but he knows his way around it. I just come in and hi.
Hey, welcome, friends. All right, I don't know if everybody's here yet, but that's cool because we get most of our, I mean, like our lives are good, but like we get a lot on replay, right? Like that's, this is the Ozempic Baby episode. If you're new here, I'm Kim. This is the Plus Size Podcast, and this is Kat, and this is Amanda, and we're here to be GLP-1 evangelist, and we act ridiculous. And we talk about important things. Yay.
Yeah.
But mostly we focus on the disease of obesity, the fact that it's a disease, education, and affordable access. Our favorite little advocate right here, Amanda from the GLP-1 Collective. We would love for you to introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us a little bit about you before we get started.
Hello, I'm Amanda from the GLP-1 Collective. I am a big old advocate for affordable access to GLP-1s. So we started a petition, we started a podcast, and we started a nonprofit that is now tax exempt. And we're just out there trying to support the community the best that we can. So that's who I am.
Amanda.
I am going to put the link to the GLP-1 Collective in here. Please go give them some money. Like that's where we're at. Okay. $5. Podcast donates. Go give some money to them. Don't give them to me. They need money. Okay. Please. Because Amanda is working very hard to get this off the ground and to fundraise and do big things. Right. And she is in a position to do that. And how many signatures do you have now?
I'm 22.6K.
22.6K. Go sign it.
Go sign that.
donate. Legitimately, whatever you were going to do on a DoorDash, like on your next order, give it towards trying to help this movement. Okay. That's it. Please. Love you. Thanks. GLP1collective.com. Yay. So tonight I realized when I was talking with Anne Marie, another friend that been here since the beginning, since us OGs from the summer, I started taking these medicines and making TikToks about it, that we really needed to do a live where we talked about this or an episode or something, because there are tons of people in our community that have PCOS and tons of them have gotten pregnant. And like, don't you want to know about that journey? So one of the things I will tell you that I talk about a lot is the fact that I struggle with infertility. Jeez, I wish I didn't get upset watching this. And
Funny,
I had
be
two
funny so
miscarriages.
you can talk. See, there we go.
Right, there we go.
Come on.
There we go. I can always count on you, Kat, for that. But I had 2 miscarriages before my son. Made me very, very sad, obviously. It was very devastating and traumatic. And then he was my miracle baby. And it only happened because my cycle got knocked off because I won a trip at work and got to go to Hawaii.
He was in Hawaii.
Legitimately. Yeah. And I came back. Oh, there he is. Baby. And so that was my one miracle baby. I could never get pregnant again. And nobody ever said to me, hey, like maybe you have PCOS, or no one even ever said to me, hey, did you know that obesity is a disease and it's not your fault? Never. And these medicines came out in 2012. So there's nothing I love more than being a mother. Honestly, it's the best freaking thing ever. And my kid is the best thing ever. And I wish I had more kids, and not at 45, to be clear. Do not, if God, I just know in a year there's going to pop up on this day. And I would have said that and like have an Ozempic baby. It's not because I don't want any more babies. It's because I'm old. Okay. Like that's all. Okay. So anyway, but regardless, like I think that there's a lot of people that would like to know about these medicines who are like doing family planning, right? So not just about the weight, but by regulating and deciding this is something that you want and being able to talk to your doctor sooner rather than later. Like there are even endocrinologists that like specialize, right, in fertility. So, and infertility. I don't know. Regardless, it's important. So I think that it would be really cool to understand what that journey could look like. And I happen to have 3 friends who have gone through this journey that I have met on TikTok.
They've made humans.
Plus their stories. So then after they're done with their stories, we're going to have Amanda bring us the tea, the GLP tea. We call it the GLP high tea here because we're fancy. And we're going to talk about what's in the news. And we're all going to bitch, whine, moan, and complain about it because it's going to piss everybody off. Okay?
Man, it's a lot.
Okay. All right. There's a chance I had a lot of caffeine before this live because I was like crashing hard. So should be a good time. You guys ready? Okay.
Let's party.
Evangelist. All right. Let's invite our friends. First, Mandy, because she's first on my list. Cassie, because she's next on my list. And Dominique, because she's next on my list. Hi. Look, there's a story of a bunch of pregnant people that are not pregnant. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the
I'm pregnant right now. Don't. You said pregnant people. No, not me.
Not anymore.
Auntie right here.
People. Unpregnant people. Well, we're so glad to have you guys. I feel like you guys some people shared about what was going on in their journey. And I just really think it's important because, especially when you do get an oops, let's not call it an oops. Let's call it a surprise, and I think that people just need to be aware of like, one, what could happen and then also what could happen, So I think that we should talk about that. And because my friend Dominique is in a bit of a pinch in the car, we're going to have her go first. And then we're all going to round table and talk about it. Okay. All right. Dominique, welcome back to the Plus Sides Podcast. We're so glad I'm here this time. Because last time my gallbladder failed on me, I missed your episode.
I know. I'm so happy that we finally get to talk on the podcast.
Me too.
So, I guess I'll start with my story on how I had an Ozempic baby. So I started Ozempic back in 2022. This is when it was like the $25 coupon, all that. So like I consider myself a bit of an OG, only I was a punk. So everybody was doing Mounjaro, and I didn't want to do Mounjaro because, I'm sorry, I didn't know what Mounjaro was. I never heard of Mounjaro. And then they were talking about it's $25. I'm like, what? I don't know.
Too good to be true.
I don't know about this, but I have heard of Ozempic before. So I'll try Ozempic. So I went to the doctor and I got a prescription for Ozempic. She prescribed it to me for weight loss. Of course, it got denied because it's only for type 2 diabetes. However, this was back when you could get your Ozempic pens from Canada, because it was back in 2022 before the craze happened. And I remember when I went to talk to her, she looked me in my face. She was like, you need to get on birth control. I said, no, I don't want to get on birth control. It's going to slow up my weight loss, all the hormones. I don't want to do it. No. She was like, do you want to get pregnant? And I was like, well, no, because I'm on a weight loss journey. I want to lose weight first before I have another baby. And she was like, then you need to get on birth control. And I was like, no, it'll be fine. Everything will be fine. Like, I'm not gonna, mind you, also, like, I've never been diagnosed with PCOS officially, but I didn't get pregnant all through my 20s until I was 28. I wasn't on birth control before then. I've always had really irregular cycles. So it wasn't like I was a big fertile myrtle. That's why I never thought it would be like, I didn't think it would be a thing, or I just didn't think it'd be a thing. So
It takes an average of 5 years to diagnose PCOS. Did you know that?
Are you serious?
That's how often it's missed and ignored. 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have some symptoms, but I'm not, I'm even gonna go into it because irregular cycles, always had them my entire life, obesity, like a lot of the things. But hey. Shout out to women's health. So I decided not to go on birth control. I was 4 months in, 39 pounds down, right there, right at my 40-pound mark. Mind you, I also had tickets to go see 2 different Beyonce concerts that summer and a trip to Mexico planned for that summer. So a baby was not even in the picture, not even a thought of mine. February, was it February? Yep, it was February that I got pregnant. February, I was like, I'm feeling a little queasy, but it might just be a side effect. It might just be a side effect. I don't think it can't be. There's no way I'm pregnant. It has to be a side effect. Okay, well, then my period didn't come. It's a little late. Okay, now we're at a week late. I'll just take a test just to be sure, because I do know, because they said that the medication, when you're on the medication, you can't be pregnant. So I was like, I'm just going to take a test to be sure. But I'm like pretty certain I'm not pregnant. Like, I was very certain I wasn't pregnant, because like I went and got a little dollar store test. Like, that's how certain I was that I wasn't pregnant. Because I was like, I'm sure this is going to come back negative. It's nothing. So I remember I went and I took it, and my husband was on the phone with his sister. I come to the door and I'm like, hey, Quentin, I think you need to hang up the phone. So I have something to talk to you about. I was like, this is saying I'm pregnant.
And that's when everyone said, oh shit.
Yes, everybody, we were just like, what is going on? Yeah. So with that, of course, I had to stop taking the medication. I still had a pen left, so I stored the pen all through my pregnancy, and my video, like, it was in my refrigerator. People were asking to buy it from me and stuff. I said no. No.
So disgusting. That is just a sign of the times.
It was the sign of the times. We were desperate.
Yeah.
I'll still ask you now.
What do I say in my video? That's what happens when people are desperate and sick. That's what happens, right?
Yes. I said, no, you cannot. No, I'm not selling my Ozempic, because also it was like gold for me, because I already knew once I got pregnant that after I was done nursing, I was starting all over again. Like, I was so excited that I finally found something that worked, because before that, after I had my son in 2020, from 2020 to 2022, I had gained 100 pounds and it felt like nothing would work. Nothing was working. I did Weight Watchers. I did keto. My mom bought me a Peloton. I was doing everything and nothing would work. So getting the GLP-1, I was like, finally something's working. Finally something is working for my body. Well, it worked a little too well. And that's how I ended up pregnant, because that's what also my OBGYN like confirmed. He was like, yeah, it was probably the GLP-1 that kicked you into high gear, and that's how you got pregnant. He was like, it really reduces the inflammation. Like, that's probably what did it. And I was like, okay, so needless to say, I gained all of the weight back, and that was something that I feel like needs to be talked about too, because that was really hard, knowing that I found something that worked, and then it's like I have to stop, and then I'm seeing the weight come back on. But I also had more hope this time, because I also knew that I had something that worked, and it was waiting for me in that fridge once I was done nursing. So yeah, that's my story. I had my little baby in 2023.
Yeah.
And she is now 16 months and thriving and healthy. So, and
Wow.
I had her, and I did a shot while I was pregnant. I unknowingly did a shot while I was pregnant. I didn't know that I was pregnant at the time. So
Yeah.
she came out fine. Everything's fine. Not saying that you should take a GLP-1 while you're pregnant, but I'm saying, like, if in my case, she was fine. So if anybody is concerned about that, just know that in my case, it worked out. So
I have not heard of any cases yet where it didn't, and I feel like that would be all over the internet.
That is very true. You're right. It would be all over the internet. So yep, that's my story.
Thank you so much. Let's move on to our next guest, and then we can all talk about the similarities. Cassie, you're going to be next because you're next to her.
Perfect. So I don't even know where to start. So I got married to my husband in 2014. And when we got married, he had I have an amazing bonus kid that was 3 years old at the time. And so we were very anxious to start our family, and started, trying as soon as we got married, and tried for 3-4 years with no success at all. Tried some medications, nothing was working. And we got to the point where it was like IVF or like further fertility steps is pretty much the only option. And by that point, I was over 350 pounds. And my OB had a very frank discussion with me and was like, you can try. I can pretty much guarantee you there's no one that will take you at the size you're at right now without losing weight first. And so we kind of tabled it and just went on living life for the next couple of years. And in 2022, I found some people on TikTok that were talking about Mounjaro, like right away, right after it had launched. And I, on a whim, decided to find a random telehealth doctor and try it. And when I started, it was August of 2022, I was over 460 pounds. And between August of 2022 and August of 2023, I lost over 170 pounds and was feeling phenomenal and resolved a ton of health things. But honestly, the fertility part was literally not even in the back of my mind, because I am 40 now. So I was 38 at the time. And I remember thinking at the time, like, not thinking this could work for me, but just being mad that I didn't know about this sooner. Because all I could think was I could have had kids if I had known about this 3, 4, 5 years ago, but thought that my ship had kind of sailed. And so we just kept on, and then got a complete shock. And I was actually off of a GLP-1 for like 2 months when I found out. And the only reason, kind of like Dominique, I was not suspecting it at all in the slightest. I only tested because I was getting back on a GLP-1. And Dr. Albert was like, you should probably check just to make sure, since you were off for a little bit. And to Dominique's point, I had like the cheapest test. I didn't record anything. Like, I would have recorded this for my husband if I had thought that this was a in the slightest a possibility. And I was pregnant at 39. And we had always said like 40 was the max. If we didn't have a baby by the time we were 40, that was it for our family. And I found out I was pregnant 3 months before I turned 40. I was like, all right, I get the joke. We're in. So yeah, had a remarkably healthy pregnancy considering. So I was almost 300 pounds when I got pregnant. Now I'm 6 feet tall and have a very big frame. So 300 pounds looks very different on me. It does on a lot of people, but still, I had a very high BMI and had the easiest, most healthy pregnancy ever. And yeah, so my daughter is 7.5 months old now. Yeah. BMI is crap is basically the moral of the story.
Oh, I broke my
Definitely.
rule with my dad.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dad, I had too much caffeine.
Yeah.
Just say BMI is crap. That's all. Just
Yeah.
say it's crap.
So yeah, my daughter is 7.5 months old now, and she is perfect and amazing. And yeah, that's the story.
That's awesome. I remember when you found out and you were like, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
Well, because like you had come off for a while because you had gone on the higher doses and I think you were having like anxiety, right?
Yeah, I had some anxiety issues and we came off it just because we weren't sure what was going on. I'd never had anxiety issues before. And so we're like, we're going to stop just to make sure, like,
Yeah.
And we kind of resolved it. Like, it wasn't really involved. So I was getting ready to start back
Yeah.
on a GLP-1. And,
And then bam.
yeah.
So are you on a GLP-1 now?
I have not restarted yet.
Okay. Do you?
So I am very, very anxious to restart. I gained back probably right around just under 100 pounds.
Okay.
Between, I gained like 60 while I was pregnant, lost a bunch immediately after. And I was like, this is great. Now I'm breastfeeding. Like I'm going to lose all this weight. That is a myth for a lot of people, apparently. And so I gained a ton of weight while breastfeeding.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Now I gotta know. Damn it! Now we gotta get someone on the show because I want to know. This is the problem with the show is I just keep going. Ooh, who can we ask those questions to? That's why we're 4 seasons in. You know.
So yeah, I'm very excited to start back on it. But yeah. I mean, it was like I said, I never planned it. Never like we weren't not trying because we had tried for a decade.
Yeah.
I was very lucky. I'd never had any losses, but I was never able to get to conceive.
Yeah.
And then it just happened.
That sounds like something we could definitely start to discuss maybe like later on down the line as well as here on the live, but like the mental capacity, not the capacity, but the mental situation issue it does when you're gaining that weight back while you're pregnant. How do we handle that? How do we process that?
That's a great question. And one of the perfect people that are here to answer it is our next guest.
Mandy.
Is Mandy. Mandy, tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so I do have an episode of The Plus Side. So you'd have to go back to, I think, June or July of 2023, and you can hear my whole story there. But long story short, I started Mounjaro, same as some of the, we're like OGs in here, starting August 2022 at 400 pounds. Immediately, I think, linked up with Cassie and Kim because we were, again, part of that OG crew. Started at 400 pounds after a very serious heart-to-heart with my family. After losing my brother in 2021, they were like, we don't want to lose another kid, and I don't want to lose another sibling. And so I thought, you know what, it's time to get serious. I had planned weight loss surgery in Mexico and had the money to do it and had an appointment scheduled. And then I heard about Mounjaro, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to give it everything I have just one more time. And so starting in August 2022, all the way up to January 2024, between then I lost 189 pounds. So I went from 400 to 211 in like 16 months, which is insane. And so I had planned a tummy tuck for April 1st, April Fool's Day, and the joke is on me because that tummy tuck did not happen. I told my husband, we got married October 2023, and I told my husband, I said, if by some miracle I get pregnant between now and April, we'll do this thing. If not, like we're having the tummy tuck and we'll get the my tubes tied in the process, and we'll just be done with all of it. I swear that was a text conversation. I got pregnant like that day. I'm not kidding. Like that was
wow.
I, like everyone else, went to the dollar store and bought the cheapest test, didn't record
There's a
anything.
trend here. Everyone's gotten dollar store pregnancy tests.
Because my husband was like, I was like, I
For
think
the win. The dollar store.
Dollar store for the win.
I laid in the bed and cried. I should
Oh,
have known then, because I was like, I know now why I've been so emotional and why I'm so tired. My sister's a nurse practitioner. I had text her and I was like, what can you give me for energy? Because I'm so tired. I feel like I've been hit by a Mack truck. And so that you can go, check, TikTok. I have very many videos of me just lamenting. It was so hard to get pregnant with my first daughter. I took medication it took us, I think, about a year to get pregnant with her, just actively with working with a doctor. And never prevented pregnancy in my life. I don't like birth control, and I'm ADD, so I'm bad at taking pills. So I never prevented pregnancy. Only had one pregnancy. Luckily, I have not really had any, I maybe had some, you know, I wouldn't say that I had I have confirmed that this is a pregnancy and had a loss like that. So I will just say, complete shocker. And
thank you.
I've also adopted 4 kids. So I have a bonus son. So this is baby number 7 for us. So although my second pregnancy and a big shocker, one of many, very, very loved, very, very much just right in with the rest of the crew. So during that pregnancy, I went from 211 to 263 within 6 weeks. So yeah.
Wow.
So 211, I was my low when I found out. So February 4th, and at my OB appointment on March 20 something, I was 263. So instantly put on that much weight. And I talked to my doctor then, and I was telling him, like, hey, I'm very concerned about this. I've put on 50 pounds in 6 weeks. He said, and I said, I wasn't eating a lot of calories before, and I probably should have been eating more, and here I am. And I'm not going to restrict what I eat while I'm pregnant. That's against everything I believe in. Because I think my body knows what my body needs. He told me that a 1,500 calorie diet was appropriate for most normal pregnant women. Yeah, that's the exact face I made. I cried on the way home. I called to schedule therapy because I wanted to, because I'm like, I can't do it. I can't handle this. I canceled my next appointment with him, made an appointment with a new doctor. But
Yeah,
still,
rightfully so.
ended up gaining 117 pounds total. So I was 211 when I got pregnant. I was 227 or 327 when I delivered. So big weight gain, but the majority of it within 6 weeks of finding out I was pregnant. So if there's any testament to how powerful the medication is for somebody who really, really struggles. I am back on the medication. I started back on 2 weeks postpartum. And I know that's early and it's a lot, but I and my doctor felt like it was more important for me to start taking the weight off. And I did not, they do not, at this time, studies show that the medication is not passed through the breast milk. It doesn't affect that. What the big concern is that if you're having a supply issue, you don't want to add in a restrictive diet on top of a supply issue, because that's just gonna kill that supply. So my supply has been great. We have been breastfeeding for the entire time. He's 5 months old, gaining weight like a champ, and I have a wonderful supply. And I have lost 60 pounds since I had the baby.
Yes.
Crazy.
Back to 267.
There we go. So you're losing and he's gaining. That's the way it should be.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I think that's just the coolest thing. I feel like it must be, I'm gonna break my rule with my dad again. Dad, don't watch. I feel like it's gotta be a mind fuck, for sure. No, then it takes away that's the whole point of the F word, Dad. Because of where you get with this, right? Mandy, everybody here knows, when the food noise turns off, right? It's earth shattering, right? mind-blowing, life-changing. That's why we're all up here and we can't shut up about it, because we've been plagued with it forever. Most of us didn't know we had it, or we thought everybody had it and we were the weak ones. And then it shuts off, and then you're like, wow, it wasn't my fault. Or you try to work towards it, right? I think a lot of us sometimes still got to get there. But then obviously you have to stop the medicines change your life, because you have a life growing inside of you, right? Which I think anybody that's on medicine at all, right, would have that feeling. But this is sort of different, right? Because it is controlling your weight, and you do usually need to at least gain or stay the same when you're pregnant, right? So I feel like that, like, what's up with the mind piece with
It's
that,
like,
and with the
being
food
on a
noise and
runaway train,
yeah,
right? I'm like, I need to get off this train, but I can't. Like, we have to stay. We have to just watch it. You know the yodel guy on Price is Right? Yeah, do do do
Yeah.
do do, and like you see your little scale, and you like cannot stop it, and you know that you can't. There's nothing you can do, and then you have the baby. I'm back on the medication. Now I have to decide, is this food noise, or is this my breastfeeding body telling me I need to eat this? So I have to eat things that a Manjaro person would not normally eat. Like I eat carbs. I eat
I eat carbs.
I eat carbs.
I eat meatball sandwiches.
okay. And I
I had
before
fried chicken today.
like my
So.
I do
hardcore.
too, and I'm having a freaking suck
I
at
just
people.
I guess I eat a lot more carbs than I let myself eat before.
I
Like
get it. I'm
Yeah,
teasing.
I was a high fiber, high protein diet kind of
Yeah,
girl.
yeah,
And I would maybe have bread here and there. Now I have bread like pretty much with every meal because I need that for,
yeah,
the baby and for me too.
yeah, sure. Yeah, I think that's I feel like that's got to be similar for anybody, right? And I would love to know, Dominique, and because you don't have all along with us, like, is that something that you felt like when
That
you with
was
the food noise?
like the hardest part of the journey. I think for me, I mean, yes, it was very hard, but I also knew that I was getting back on it. So it's like,
Yeah,
so it was easier for me to ignore, but
mm,
I'm not going to lie, there was a part of me that felt not sad that I was pregnant or
mhm.
like sad about the
Yeah.
baby, but I was a little disappointed when I found out I was pregnant because I was like, shit.
Oh, and
You lost her.
what an appropriate time.
Oh no, she said
She said
she
shit.
ran away.
I'm doing it.
Okay, we'll get her back of it. She'll be fine. Cassie, what about you? While Dominique has left the building.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. So, I mean, I think mine maybe was a little bit different because this was my first pregnancy and because we had tried for so long and I had just completely given up the thought that this was possible.
Yeah.
I was so, and I mean, again, not that everybody wasn't grateful, but like it was just so like monumental for me to that this was even happening
Yeah.
that I think I was so focused on like, is she going to be okay? Because I was older and I was still heavier. Like I was so worried about the pregnancy being successful that I think it kind of took away the amount of time that I had to focus on what was going on with me, which was a blessing in disguise because it wasn't, but it was like, there was the weirdest thing for me was going back through the milestones I had celebrated coming down.
Yeah.
So like I had a huge moment where I could fit my wedding ring back on for the first time after like 8 years of not being able to wear it. And then I had a moment where I couldn't fit it on my finger anymore. I was like, well, this is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And, I had gone to where I didn't need to worry about chairs when I went out to restaurants because I could just fit in any chair. And now then I went back to like, now I have to worry about these things. Like it was just, that part was what I found the hardest, was all of those things that I was like, this is what life could be like. And I'm like, okay, back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like going back to shopping in the plus size section.
Mhm.
I had like, I have all these XXLs. To me, XXL is skinny. When you start at 400 pounds, XXL is like,
Yeah.
I'm shopping in the normal side.
The whole wardrobe thing sucked because I lost all this weight, had to get rid of all of my clothes that didn't fit anymore, got pregnant, had nothing that fit anymore, and then gained more weight afterwards and still have nothing that fits. Like I've gone through so much money and so many sizes in
Did you
such a
give
small amount
away
of time.
your fat clothes? Like, because like that was really hard for me.
I sold all of mine.
Sold them. Good for you.
Yeah. I found Facebook groups where people like resold clothes. And so I sold it, like I sold everything for like, $3, $5. Like I wasn't making
Yeah.
money on it, but I used that to fund new clothes.
Yeah. Smart. I use TikTok Shop.
Yeah. It felt very empowering because it was the same. I had a hard time getting rid of it. And so that it felt like there was like a reason to be getting rid of it. But now I really regret it because I could have used all those clothes.
You're like, and then or the money for the baby because they're expensive. Yeah. I think that I do remember that moment, like when you have to make that decision to give away like your fat clothes, right? Like, I mean, I hate calling that, but we all call them that. Like, I don't like the word fat, but like ultimately that's we have to acknowledge that it's a thing, right? And I called them in my head and to myself, those are my fat pants, right? Those are my fat clothes, you know. Like Joey says, those are his turkey Thanksgiving pants, you know. When the sweats, the turkey sweats come, you know, the meat sweats, that's what he calls them, you know. And like I think that when it was time, I couldn't do it. So I put them all in a big bag, and then I gave it to John, and I had to have John do it. And I think it was because it was like, and the reason I'm bringing this up too, also about the clothes, because you mentioned the thing about the ring. Guys, I've lost 110 pounds. I have not like lost any weight. I've gained 10 pounds since hormone replacement therapy and bouncing around a little bit right now because stupid perimenopause. But regardless, it's been a very long time since I've had any changes to my weight. I still can't bring it myself to get my ring sized. So I just wear fake rings because I can't. I don't know. Like, I just feel like I'm going to gain it back. Even now, 2.5 years later, right? Even though like all the data is showing that it's probably okay, you know? I don't know, like I'm going to lose access or I'm going to, you know? And so I'm like, why would I give away the gold that's in the ring or the platinum that's in the ring, right? Like, why would I do that? I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it, you know? And so I just wear fake rings and my beautiful ring just sits in a drawer. Isn't that
That's
weird?
the part that was like, I think that was what made it so hard for me. Dominic kind of touched on it. Was like, I was so afraid. Being an OG, 2022, we were all afraid that it was going to be taken away from us at any moment.
Yeah.
So we were like, lose as fast as we can because we don't know when we're going to lose access.
Yeah.
And so like I even went like up in dose like every month because I wanted to get to the
Like,
highest.
how often were we having to refill? Do you remember? It was like every 26 days.
Oh, we used to know exactly the
Remember?
day.
Yeah.
And I would set my alarm like on my phone and wake up at midnight and request it at CVS. Like I was,
That's
I
how
get a
miracle it was for us. Yeah.
and it's not normal, but
You know what was crazy? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, sorry. I was just so afraid that I was going to lose it. That I was going to get it all back. And so when I found out I was pregnant, I'm like, I'm going to gain it all back. The thing that I had been running from hit me, like stopped me dead in my tracks, and it was devastating to me.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. It was 23 days.
Yeah.
That's exactly accurate.
For me, they actually took away while I was pregnant is when they stopped the Ozempic pens being sold from Canada because they said too many people were purchasing them. And so I was like,
that's
right. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? But then by the time I was not pregnant and was ready to start again, that's when Zepbound had come out and it was $550. So I was like, well, I guess I'll pay the $550 for the Zepbound. And I did that for a little bit. And then I stopped because shortages.
Right.
And I went to Compound. So it's like, I completely understand that sentiment of like losing access because when I found out that they took away the Ozempic pens from Canada, I was like, well, I can't afford $1,200 for this. And then I saw everything that was going on with Mounjaro. And then like Zepbound was just so expensive. It was just so I completely understand. I was like, shoot, what am I gonna
remember
do?
like in our community, we were like having people we used to call it stacking boxes, and it was filling every 23 days, right? Because that's what you could do with the coupon, right? Like, and with your insurance that would allow for that, so that we would have it for when there was a shortage, although we didn't know there was a shortage coming at the time. And then so that we would have it when I'm talking about we as the community, because I was on Ozempic with you. And everybody, that's what we were doing. And then they had the first shortage and then they changed the savings card, right? And that was like fall 2022, right? So we were all, and like I remember when we all first started too, that it was very much like a accountability friend, right? We were it was shot day videos, weigh-in day videos, exercising, what I ate in a day, and all of that was allowed back then.
Mhm.
You know, now it's
Yeah.
disordered eating. God, which one is disordered eating? The eating everything and being obese, or this one? Anyway, digress. So there's a chance I'm salty about it. Can you tell? But regardless, like I feel like that's how we were. And then the food noise kind of started like turning off for a lot of us. And we were just amazed, right? Like we were like, are you guys feeling this shit? Like, what? Can you believe this? I can say shit. It's just not the F word. But you know, like I remember, and then we were making videos and we were going on lives and we were like, are you guys noticing this? Like no food noise. And I feel like I've got all this space in my brain. And what could we do? And people started businesses and people like, it was, you know what I mean? Like a podcast and then all these different things because it was like so incredible. So I feel like if you were on that journey, I can imagine it hasn't happened to me. If I was on that journey and then I found I was pregnant, even though I've had 2 miscarriages, wish that I had been a mother, more than a mother than I am, like I had more children, I still would have been like, oh my God. Because I think, and I've had moments on this journey, weeks where whether it's stress or for whatever reason, my body is resisting and it is pushing up my food noise through my medicine, you know, and it turns on and it is fucking, sorry, Dad, terrifying. Like it is like
I get it.
so scary. So I feel like that must be huge. Right. And at least you have sort of like, I feel like the baby to kind of focus on, but you also kind of don't because it's in there, like, you know, and you can't even really see it for a long time, you know? So I feel like that's gotta be such, I'm sorry, Dad, mind fuck. Like I can't even imagine. I
And then
don't think people get it. It's not just like being on Weight Watchers and losing a bunch of weight and then getting pregnant. It's literally having the torture of food noise to where that's all you can think about all the time, turn back on and having to grow a baby. And like,
yeah,
I
a
think
baby
in general,
creates
go ahead.
too.
Yeah. What'd you say?
As the baby creates its own food noise.
Yeah, I bet. Yes. True.
Didn't
Oh,
Weight Watchers, I think you could still
Yeah, you
go
could.
to meetings while you were pregnant, right? You
Yeah,
just
they
gotta
had a
lose
whole
weight.
pregnancy. I remember that from back in the day.
You're gonna be okay, Kim. I promise. I
can't believe
promise you.
you
That word triggers
brought it
me.
up. I just want to say for the record, I was thinking it though.
Well, and I had the same situation as Mandy. I gained, I think, 40 pounds in my first trimester. And that I had the same, I was like,
Really fast.
I am going to surpass like, I had lost almost 200 pounds and I was facing down like I might, and I don't know where this is going to end up. Cause like, if I gain this much and so now luckily it did level out after that. Like I gained a ton in a really short amount of time and then barely gained anything for the whole rest of my pregnancy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was terrifying thinking like, what if I just keep gaining 40 pounds every trimester? Like this is going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
if it's also just like your inflammation. It just all comes back,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The inflammation.
Gone
Was
down
that
so
hard? Did you feel that like really quick?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. What about you, Dominique? Did you feel it too? Because you were 40 pounds, almost 40 pounds down. Oh,
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I definitely felt that. I could like my back started hurting again, and like it was just it was the scoliosis, and I don't know if those things are connected, but I definitely felt it. I gained. To be honest, I don't even know how much I gained in what time period because I really tried my best to just block it out for my mental health. So like when I would go to the doctor, they would weigh me, but I'd be like, okay, whatever. Like I literally would just like
okay, whatever.
Okay, weird question. I have to know what your zodiac sign is. Are you
I'm a Leo?
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I feel like, yeah, that's very goal oriented. I just was curious because, like, I think that, like, I was just, I don't know. I'm echoing on your phone. I'm sorry, but like, I just was curious because I was like, if you can kind of like reassign, like compartmentalize is what I'm looking for, right? Like how you panic. You know what I mean? But I do think we've come really far, like I would say, like as women, being able to talk about how pregnancy is hard and how motherhood is hard, right? And how aunthood is hard too, Kat. It is, except for you get to give it back. But you know what I mean? But I think we've come further around that because I think before, right? And this is a weight loss journey aside, if you were pregnant or you had a baby, you had to be like, it's just the best thing ever. Guys, full disclosure, I hated being pregnant. I love being a mom. I hated being pregnant. I hated it. I was
ginormous. The only thing I liked about it is I kept my weight off until my 3rd trimester. And then all I wanted was sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits from McDonald's. And I recognized when I was pregnant, and I asked Dr. Albert about this, I recognized when I was pregnant that I could eat gluten with no problem. And I was like, it was the weirdest thing, Dr. Albert. He's like, actually, it's not. Your body changes so that it doesn't, like, because it's kind of like autoimmune sort of, right? Where it attacks, right? It's attacking you for eating it, right? And he's like, and it doesn't want to attack the baby. So your body changes. I'm like, that's bizarre, right? But I was like, I ate 2 biscuits a day. I was like, and I remember sitting in front of the biscuit and going, I should have named my kid Biscuit for like a nickname. It was a missed opportunity. And I was like eating it and I go, you know what? I was like making the decision. I was like, you're never going to get to do this again. Like I just knew it. And I ate the biscuit. I don't regret it.
Taste the biscuit.
Taste the biscuit.
Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
That
honey sauce.
Get the goodness of the biscuit and
Get that honey sauce on me.
I shouldn't. His nickname, I always call him Pumpkin. I should have called him Biscuit. I swear, because I ate them and they were good. Yeah. But I mean, it really, and I did have a lot of food noise as it like got further, but I didn't know, right, that that's what was happening. That it was baby food noise, right? You don't even think about it that way. You need to coin that term immediately. Go by that domain.
Baby food noise?
Babyfoodnoise.com.
We're not talking about the Gerber baby food.
No, not that baby food. No. I think that it's important for people to know. And I think that a lot of doctors will say, like, if you even want to get pregnant, like, don't get on this medicine. But I do think that there are a lot of people that struggle with infertility, right? Whether it's because of PCOS or because of obesity. I will tell you the majority of the doctors, and this is Kim, that's not a doctor, by the way, that have said that the reason, like a lot of times our bodies respond like they do, right? Where we drop weight really quick, the inflammation goes away, is because the medicine treats insulin resistance. And PCOS is insulin resistance. Obesity, almost always insulin resistance. Type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance. Like it's a commonality. It's why the medicines work. Like, for the most part, everybody's different, but for the most part, that's why, and a lot of people don't know that, right? They think that it's just that we eat less, but it's just a lot more than that, that is a big part of it. But something that one of the doctors said we had on recently, Dr. Karate, is he was like, the caveman that's in our head that says we need to survive the famine, we need to eat everything all the time. We just short circuit that, right? And then that's what helps everything regulate. And I think that's true, right? It just stops that constant, eating and regaining. And it's also like how our body's processing everything, because that's what they really try to explain in a way that I feel like people can understand, but nobody listens. Like the media and stuff is just every time I turn around, it's just, oh yeah, it turns off the food noise, makes you not eat. No, it actually affects the thing and the thing, but nobody says it. I had too much caffeine. God.
Well, and there were so many people that, like, when I found out that were, because I was like screaming it from the mountaintops, like this, she would not exist if it were not for Mounjaro. I am 1,000% positive of that. And there's some people like, it's just because anybody that lost so much weight would lose it. And I was at a smaller weight when I got pregnant. And when we were trying for the first 3 years, I was at a smaller weight than I was when I got pregnant.
And younger.
And so like, if you want to believe that at a smaller weight with the help of medication to help me ovulate, that I could not get pregnant for 3 years. And then this just randomly happened because I lost weight. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
That's what I tell people. I feel like I can't help you. If you can't see this logic, I don't know what to do with you. Like,
my period regulated within 3 months of starting the medication. It did not take the full year for that to happen. And I should have known then that this could be a possibility when that's synced up for the first time in my life.
I think part of me was okay with it. Do you know what I'm saying? I think part of
100%. I was like, is this how everybody else lives? This is so much easier. You just know when it comes. It's great.
It didn't happen for me. But I also think that might have been because I was like so obsessed. I just had to understand. I was like, and I think our community in general definitely has like a thirst for knowledge, right? Because when you've been sick for a very, very long time, right? Or your whole life, right? As long as you can remember. And then you take a medicine that just makes it all better. Like, how can you not shout about it? Like, and I know there are many people that follow the podcast, that follow us on socials. They don't say anything to anybody ever, I don't know how they do that. I don't know how, because like I would have to scream, but I know why, well, one, it's somebody's business, right? But two, it's the judgment and the stigma. It's so bad. I think it's getting better, but it's still really bad. Like on full disclosure, I've been interviewing for jobs. You Google me, you find all the things, and
Yeah.
I have not gotten any job offers. And I swear it's because people think I'm an Ozempic influencer. And there's like a lot of stigma with that. And I'm interviewing for jobs that I'm highly qualified for, and even with that, I'm making it far. I'm not getting offers. And I'm like, what? I used to be like recruited heavily and like offered lots more money to do what I do because it's very niche and there's not a lot of us, but you Google me, and there's nothing I could do about that. And it's just the stigma is so bad. Even now that we have evidence that this is a wonder drug, which it is. I don't care what anybody says it is, and even now people still are the way that they are. And I don't understand it. I'll never understand. Does anybody else have problems like that at work? Do people like find your socials and be like, what are you doing?
Thank goodness, no.
Yeah.
Not really.
I don't think
I'm not
anybody
big enough
found me.
though.
Yeah. I wonder though, if you're trying to find a new job and anybody else, if they were trying to find a new job and they were on socials, like if it would be a problem.
I
That'll be
will.
our next live.
I was trying to jobs back when I was popping off on TikTok. I did try to change jobs. And I got all the way to the point of they called my references. And I know if you get to that point, like pretty much have a
you're
job,
close.
and it never came. And I do wonder if that had something to do with it, because I do have a social media presence, and it was very much like a upfront position where like I'd be very visible.
Yeah. I remember like one of your videos. This is when I found you, I think. No, I found you before that. But you had popped off because of the dress.
Yeah.
Right? Tell us the story.
I tried on wedding dresses when I had lost 110 pounds. And I had lost it in a short period of time. So this was like April. So April 2023. So from October to that April, I had lost 110 pounds. Amazing. I felt amazing and beautiful. And so I went with my family and I tried on dresses and we videoed it all because I wanted to see what it would look like on video, So I was like, I'm going to make a little fun video for my friends about like me choosing the dress.
And how many followers did you have at that time?
Oh, I don't even know why I have followers. So I don't want to talk about, I don't know why. But anyway.
You went viral in that video. You went viral in that video.
I don't know why I have followers. Funny.
Awesome.
And there was not that many nice comments. It has 4 million views, but it has like 3,000 likes.
Wow.
And people were very, very mean. They said I was hideous. They said I was disgusting. They said that made comments about how my stomach moved when I cried out of happiness, because I looked in the mirror and I was like, I look so good, because to me, I did. I looked amazing. And nobody knew my story. I didn't think I had to put a backstory on this funny little video I made for my friends and family, So I really wanted to show everyone by the time that my wedding came that I looked amazing in that dress. And I'll be honest, it did not fit. It didn't fit even a little bit. My boobs, can I say boobs? Yeah. Are down here.
And then you say boobs all the time.
Here. So because they were so much smaller. And then the dress was just like all bunched out. And it didn't do me the justice that I wanted to. And of course, the video of me being like, look, I was right. I look amazing. Did nothing, went nowhere. Because nobody wants to see somebody succeed. Right. And so, and I'll be surpassing that weight. Again, mind fuck. Because I'm that person that everybody made fun of. And I'm back here. And I wanted to show everyone that I'm better than that. And I do not need to do that. I am valuable and I have worth no matter what weight I am. I am beautiful no matter what weight I am. But I wanted to it doesn't stop you from wanting to be 2 middle fingers to everyone who said that I'm hideous.
Absolutely.
I mean, and so the little things, they sneak back in. You're like, you are hideous. You are disgusting. You are not people look at you. People are passing judgment on you based on your weight, no matter where you go, no matter what you do. And it sucks. I was skinny, dude. I was skinny.
Yeah.
Now I'm not.
I
But I do have a baby. So, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think I'll ever be skinny, but I also, there is no skinny Kim in existence, right? So I don't have, as a matter of fact, when I stopped losing and I got to about size 14, I was relieved because I was like worried I was going to have to reckon with that, right? Because I identify as a big, beautiful woman. That's like a core to who I am. And so if I wasn't that, that's where that sorry dad mindfuck thing comes right back in, right? It's like this is more of a mental journey than is it a physical one because
I'm
as
so
we've
tickled.
seen, we know how to eat,
Every time you say it,
right?
yeah.
Because he's gonna watch it and be mad at me, but and he's got cancer and he uses it against me in a court of law. He's like, he says that he's like, just till I'm dead. When I'm dead, you can say cuss words on the internet, but I can't take it because he watches my TikToks.
Oh, I gotta jump, you guys. I'm sorry.
Thank you for coming.
No,
Thank you, Dominique.
for having me. This was so much fun. Thank you for letting me share my little
Thank
story.
you
I
for
love
sharing your
talking
story.
Thanks for coming. Bye.
Bye, Dominique.
Awesome. I love it. This has been great. Had you guys having fun?
Oh yes.
Or make poor Mandy cry. We always cry.
No, I'm a very emotional person. This is very, weight, I think for all of us is something that's like,
Oh, your episode is called Weighted Down. People need to
right.
find it.
Weighted Down. That's my
Weighted
episode.
Down.
It goes very deep. It starts
It does.
in childhood and it hurts, right? And I would say I was skinny to me. I was still over 200 pounds and I was still in a size 12, but I was in a size 12 when I was in 7th grade. So like that is skinny to me.
Yeah.
Same.
I have this thing like where I see this is ridiculous, I know. Because I don't think I'm skinny or anything like that. I am very skinny to me, right? But I was it's so bizarre. TikTok messes with my brain because like all I see is this, and I look skinny if you look at my face, right? Like I look like but I'm not, right? But I walked by a guy the other day, and I'm married, happily married, right? And I walked by this guy, and he didn't even like try to make contact with me, and I was like, "You got fat phobia." Like that's what I was thinking because I'm gorgeous. Like that's literally what I was thinking. I'm like, what's the matter with you? Have you not seen me like in my brain? And I was like, Kim, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you know what I mean? But it's weird how you notice those things. You know what I mean? And how they start to become like more evident. I think like it's like it's weird how you change. It really is. And I think one of the problems like with our one of the many problems with our healthcare system is that there is not enough access to like honestly mental care support, like mental health support. There's really not. And
absolutely.
I wish there were enough therapists, period, but certainly enough therapists that specialize with eating disorders and certainly enough therapists that specialize with maybe even when you go through a major weight loss, like whether you have surgery or something, and then there were a plethora of them, but there's not to mention, even if there were a lot of them, they cost a lot of money and people don't have insurance and they don't cover it by insurance, all those things. So you want to know what happens? We go to TikTok and we go to YouTube and we go to our communities, right? To try to get some sort of support to try to understand these things because ultimately like the accessibility is just not there. It's just not there. So we hope that changes too. Amanda, get on that, would you?
Well, and that's why I started sharing. Yeah. When I first started sharing on TikTok, that was why I started sharing because, like I said, I followed a lot of the like OG, like you and a lot of the OG creators. I didn't start sharing until maybe November or December of 2022. So I was on it for like 4 or 5 months before I started. But there was, even within our space, within our community, I still wasn't even seeing people that looked like me. Like there was like maybe 1 or 2 other creators that were in much larger bodies. Almost everybody that I saw, I was like, I would die to be at your starting weight. And that's your starting point. Like my journey does not look like your journey. And it's a complete mind fuck.
I say this to myself all the time. I'm like, your rock bottom is my goal weight. Like,
I feel that so much though. You're right.
I respect, like, I understand it is hard on everyone. So I get it. But I see somebody who's like, I was 225 pounds.
Yeah, I'm like, that's my goal. That'd be great.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
5?
Or when people say they were 200 pounds, that's because for them, that's very, very large, right? Because
Yeah.
that's the biggest they've ever been, right? Like my mom's like that. And whenever she complains about 200, I'm like,
Girl,
Don't
please.
give it to the next
but
person.
it's very real to her. And it's very like, and it's just like, that's the thing is like, we have to realize it is the same feeling, right? It's just a different number,
100%.
but it is the same feeling. Friends, if you would please like this live, we'd love you so much. Would you
Yes,
help
please like
post
the
that so we
live.
get pushed out so we can find more friends? Yay! Anyway,
Like the live.
so we're gonna play some bean footage.
And then we're gonna talk
Beautiful bean
about
footage, and then we're gonna talk news. If y'all have time, you can hang. If you don't, just let me know and you can go. We love you to hang though.
I have enjoyed it. He's wanting me, and it's.
I figured.
I was just gonna say, I have to go pump.
Oh, you put it at
The Ozempic babies are calling. The Mounjaro babies are.
yeah, the Mounjaro babies are calling. That's so funny.
We
It's so
love
good to see
you.
again,
Listen,
This
Mandy.
was so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you for coming and listen and keep liking us while you feed the baby. We love you.
Right. That's
Bye,
right.
guys. And that is
Okay.
our first Ozempic baby live. Everybody, round of applause.
Ozempic baby.
For our lovely guest. Our lovely guest. Yay. Let's talk about stuff in the news that pisses us off and that makes us happy. Amanda.
What do you need?
From the
let's
GLP-1
do
collective.
some footage.
I have had a lot of caffeine
Hey.
bouncing off the walls. How are y'all even kidding? This is crazy. Like I'm outside looking into myself right now, like, calm the fuck down. It's because I drink a thing and I don't drink a thing usually.
I'm inside looking out at myself thinking I should have drank a thing. I want this
I'm sure I'm
energy.
making people exhausted. Like rabbit.
So,
What's going on?
first of all,
We roll the footage, roll some beans.
We got to do the beans, and then I got to talk about something cool. So yeah,
Beans.
beans.
bean time.
Food has definitely been a very dominant voice in my head. That's not the main focus anymore. Dieting, exercising, and adding GLP-1s through Row is a game changer. I have such a sense of mental freedom since I started with Row. Food no longer controls my thoughts. Family time used to revolve around food, and now it revolves around what we're gonna go do together.
Wow.
So cool, some cool options. So everybody, I think that knows the podcast knows I try to create relationships with different telehealths or different providers, like whatever that is, because not everybody's in the same state. Not everybody has can pay a monthly fee. Not everybody can, like some telehealths don't have tirzepatide. For example, our friends Ro, they have semaglutide, right? And some people need tirzepatide. So I try to provide that in the best way that I can. So Ro is fantastic. Ro has a program to help you figure out what works good for you, right? Plus, you have access to lots of different things to be able to figure out what your goals are for your health in general. And then they have access to the medication. They also, and this will be related to the news as well. I had to burp mid readout. Sorry, friends. Hey, my name's Kim, Superhuman. But in general, so like with Ro, you can get really good quality care there, and you can get semaglutide if you need it. But they can also prescribe Zepbound and Zepbound vials, and also Wegovy. So in terms of these medications, if your insurance covers them, try to get them approved for you. Try to get your PA approved, prescribe them to you, send them to a regular pharmacy for you, or you can access their compounded semaglutide as of now. Now, obviously, lots of things are up in the air with compound, but right now it's business as usual for them. Okay. Emerge is another company. So if you're on tirzepatide or if you're on compound and you can't afford to pay a monthly fee with Ro, they have one that does not have a monthly fee. Emerge. They're wonderful. They also, the reason I connected with them is my friend Lacey, who's an OG in this community, has been with them for a long time. And she uses their compound and had great success. And she also built something called it's called, I can't remember the whole thing because they call it EWS, Emerge Weight calls. I don't know. Well, I can't remember the thing. It's EWS because if you say wait on TikTok, they're assholes about it. But basically what it is their calls, and I get to host one. A lot of people go and host them, and it builds community. So you can come in and ask questions and vent and whatever you want, and they have them. And I get to do that with those people and talk about, fad bias and all these things I talk about healing from within and all of those things that I like to talk about with my content, because you have plenty of people to tell you how to move and what to eat, right? You don't need me for that. So I talk about the other stuff, right? What Kat calls the weight between the ears. That's kind of like what my content focuses on. So if you are a part of that, program, if you choose to get compound through them, right, then you would be able to come to those sessions, which are very exclusive to Emerge, and see me and other people. I have a $50 off coupon. It will be in the show notes or either in the link tree in the show notes, where you can go and sign up if you want to. And just know that's another option. I want you to have options. Okay. And as I move along and meet more friends, we'll talk more about that. But right now, these are my picks. Okay. So bean footage complete. Let's talk about the news.
Should we play our tea time?
Everybody who's listening didn't just see
Do that
the
again.
fireworks go off.
She did
I
a
love
fire.
that.
There we go.
I love Mac.
like it.
I love that about Mac. Like, I just love that. And when you can be like, and balloons go off and stuff. The only problem is I talk with my hands. We all know it's super annoying, right? But I can't help it. It's who I am. And when I'll be like in the middle of saying something really serious, and all of a sudden the thumbs up will come up, and like that. So it's funny, but it's also annoying. Anybody else want to sip of what I'm drinking? Because
I think you drank it all.
Crazy. Maybe I should stop drinking it.
You drank it all.
Hey, okay, Amanda. Hey, how you doing?
Are you doing tea time?
I'm your friend. I'm not doing tea time. You're doing tea time. So we're gonna drop the tea time clip. Kat, you're on it. Associate producer Kat. Oh wait, no, wrong tea time.
There's another tea time.
No, there's the other tea time. The other tea time.
Is it the one at the bottom?
The one at the bottom. That's perfect. The Plus Size Podcast. Hiring a designer. If you're interested, because I need help.
Okay, that was cute.
Cute. Okay, tell us the tea from the high T GLP.
The FDA removed semaglutide from the shortage list, which means that compound sema is now under threat more than it was before. And we have until April 22nd for 503A facilities and May 22nd until 503B has to stop. And that's really scary because tirzepatide is already like a huge point of contention in court with the FDA and the OFA and Eli Lilly and now Novo Nordisk.
Yeah.
And the OFA responded by suing the FDA again over semaglutide. So now they're in court for both compound versions, and we're all scared.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there is one silver lining to this, sort of. Eli Lilly, at the same time that this happened, dropped their pricing for cash pay only. So luckily, you can now get 2.5 milligrams of Zepbound for $349, which is still a lot.
Probably the lowest I've seen, which isn't that ironic? That's the lowest I've seen for tirzepatide. We decided, like, we all said we'll pay it, and now they know what to charge.
It's still a lot, but it matches compound prices.
Yeah.
What starts to stop matching is when you go up to 5 milligrams.
Yeah.
And then it's $499. It's $500 basically.
Yeah.
And then you go up to 7.5, which is now available through cash price. And that's basically $600. It's $599. So
was it for 10 the same? $599? I was thinking they had 10. I couldn't remember.
They all capped at 5.
no,
Yeah.
I thought it capped at 7.5.
I feel like they had
No,
10.
They just released.
They have 10 as well, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh,
Where's Dave when you need
there
him?
we go.
Yeah, well, I mean, regardless, still,
Here we are for the news.
but legitimately, right? Like, that's a car payment.
Yeah, it keeps going up,
Yeah.
and we all know that this medication is meant to be titrated up. So
Yeah.
they're still getting you on it and then forcing you to pay more.
Yeah.
Once it starts working and you realize the food noise is gone and you don't want to go back to living the life that you were living or being sick or
Yeah.
being in pain, and you're willing to pay more at that point is the way that they're seeing it. But if you miss a dose, if you can't pay for 1 month, then you have to pay full price for the
Yeah.
next dose,
Yeah,
which
it was
is
a 45-day, right? It's you have to refill it within 45
Because they don't want you getting 10 if you're on 2.5 and stretching it out, right? I really think that's the reason that they went with they like for Ozempic, right? It's like 1 pen, right? It's a single dose pen. I think the reason that when they went to Wegovy, they had the 4 pens because they don't want people doing that. They don't want people like microdosing, if you will, right? Because that defeats their whole profits. And it is profits over people. So,
Yeah.
which I get. Like, don't get me wrong, guys. Like, I'm a marketer. I am all about business. I don't have any problem with people making money and taking care of their family. I don't have any problem. I don't care. I don't have any problem with people getting rich. Not one damn problem with it. My problem is that when this happens like it did, because Eli Lilly and Novo, you did not do your due diligence enough to be able to handle the demand and go to market in the way that was made sense. And in the middle of a shortage, you launched in other countries. So you did fuck up. Okay. And when you did that, lots of people went and got on compound. And while that was amazing because there was affordability and accessibility, now we've got the problem where you've made it kind of out of price of market for a lot of people at those higher doses who are on that medicine. So here's what's going to happen. People are going to go to the black market now. That's what's going to happen. So they're going to go and take medicine for $100 or $200. For both of you guys are with issues with this. And they're going to take that. They're going to get sick. And it's because they're sick people that need medicine and they're desperate. And that's what happens. That's what happens. And you've got to think about that. Now, the only thing I'll say is Novo has not created an option like Eli Lilly has had. Right? They have not created something that you can go around the PBMs and pay cash price, so that's just something to think about. Like, I wish that they would, but we have got to get PBM reform. This is a hot pile of steaming cow dung. Like it is. Now I feel
my knowledge.
I was wagging my finger at the manufacturers because like they could sue me. I don't know why. It is your fault. My daddy's an attorney. Just kidding. But seriously.
To my knowledge, semaglutide is actually more widely prescribed.
Yeah.
And so that sucks. That does suck.
It
does.
Because
Novo Nordisk hasn't lowered their prices. They don't have this same option.
No.
And all of the people
they have
that are
said
using
they're not probably going to, right? Well, they haven't said that, right? So the CEO came here in front of the Senate Help Committee and said, listen, I know you think lowering prices is the answer, but if I lower prices, right, then your PBMs take me off of formularies because they want to be able to have expensive drugs on the formularies. And
want those rebates.
Because those rebates, which is basically what it is, right? Sorry, my dog's caught in my cords. Those rebates, they make money. They make more money, right? Like that's the thing is in terms of the way the medicine works is he was saying, I'm walking away with less than your PBMs are. Right.
Yeah.
So he's like, so if I get off, he thinks you think it's going to solve the problem, but really they're just going to drop it. And then so Bernie, right, being Bernie, is like, I have commitments from I feel like Dave does it the best. Commitments from these top PBMs. Will you consider to do And he's like, yeah, like I'll sit down with you and talk about it, right? But he wouldn't commit to anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, for rightfully so. He's been, Novo's been burned before by PBMs.
Yeah, specifically with insulin, right? Like, and that's true. And they did make the money. They did. And they are also, that's something to consider with like, to their credit, right? They did do all of the research and all the development and all of the things. And they do try to front load medicine in general to be able to make as much back as possible in the beginning. Like that's, again, capitalism and business, right? It's cool. Like I get it, but the problem with that is that why isn't the rest of the world having to pay as much as we do? And it's because they say, right, is our PBMs, right? They say that's our problem and it's our fucked up healthcare system, And so I don't know. I mean, I think that for sure is a big issue. You know what I mean? But at the same time, even with Eli Lilly, right? It's less in other countries. We interviewed someone on the show that's from UK, right? That specifically said they're paying like $150 a month for a quickie pen of Mounjaro, and it doesn't go up, based on that. And that's the other thing too, is if it costs, like, we know that the pens were a big part of the manufacturing issue, right? So if it costs a lot to make those pens and then they have them in the vials, considering this is a company that makes insulin, right? I'm thinking they probably can make those vials for like, you know what I mean? So why? And I want to say, like, why does it have to be so expensive? But the answer is because they know we'll pay it, because we've been paying for compound. The market set the price. We said that's what we could bear. The problem is that's just the we that are taking it right now, not all the other people that can't afford to even take the compound.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they know all this, and I know they don't super care, but it just is like such a travesty, because it's like everybody's pointing fingers at everybody else. And so all we do is see people suffer needlessly. Like, I have to actively stop myself from walking towards someone that has obesity, that clearly has obesity, that I know, because when you have it, right? And say, do you know about this? It is really difficult for me not to just take Dave's book and hand it to somebody, right? Or to get a card for the plus size and go check out this podcast, right? But I would be, if it was me, I would be mortified, right? If someone did that to me, which is why I don't do it. And I hope that they just, passively find me or others on TikTok, you know what I mean? Or on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, right?
Yes, indeed.
Because it has to be more of a passive thing, I don't know. It's a mess, guys. I wish there was an answer. And I do feel glad that there at least is a cash pay price that's close-ish to compound. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I do think ultimately it's going to go away. I mean, what we've heard from a lot of the compound pharmacies, because like that's what they're going to have to. This is all just opinion, guys. It's just what we've heard. Opinions are like buttholes. You know how that works. Some of the compound pharmacies that are out there are specifically saying, that they are within the space, like for what they do for as a compound pharmacies, to provide custom doses, right? Whether that's adding B12, or maybe you are, like, for example, your doctor says, hey, actually, she responds really well to 2.5, but 5 is too much for her. I'm going to prescribe her 3.5, right? They're saying that is a space. And we did have Scott on from the Alliance for Compound Pharmacy.
Yes.
Right?
The Alliance for Compound.
I feel like I always say it backwards because I have dyslexia. But we had him on, and he said, yeah, like that is 100% why compound pharmacies exist, to do things just like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think it's the fact that they're going to be moving all of their patients to these special doses, right? And then it's like, so they have to decide, I think, as a compound pharmacy, are they okay doing that? And they're going to be okay going to port, right? Because that's what it'll come down to, I think, in my opinion, because these drug manufacturers have trillions of dollars, for sure, hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, to pay their attorneys to defend their patent, So I can't imagine that it'll be like this. It's going to come to an end at some point. It's just a matter of when, and then who is going to, I think, stay in the game, if you will, and be willing to like duke that out. And then even then, for how long? Because I hope it goes as long as possible. And so we can get these drugs on more formularies, or get better cash pay prices. But I know that they're a very shrewd company in Lilly, and they're not going to lower those prices until they have to, which is exactly what they did this time. They waited until everything was happening with litigation, and then they lowered it. You know
I'm
what I
just
mean?
ready to see more. I want to see more enter the market. I know it's coming.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, let's get CagriSema, right? Let's get retatrutide. Also, I got to say this, guys. Please, please, please. If anybody is selling you retatrutide at this point in time, you have to understand it is research grade. If you're lucky, okay? I just need you to know that, because people are going to get desperate, and they're going to go and compound pharmacies are ones are going to start selling it and people are going to go get it. My concern, this is still in long-term studies. And in the phase 2 trials, we did see, was it arrhythmia? So there were issues
Yes.
with increased heart. So they're
people
still
have heart.
studying it to make sure
Yeah.
it can even get approved. Okay. So you have to chill out. Like, and just please, because I know that feeling. It is a desperation, like I right now, because I'm on, I left my job. So I'm month to month right now with my medicine and being able to afford insurance at all, so it's just something to really think about before you go and do that, because it is temporary, my friends. Like, we're going to figure this out, and I don't want you to suffer, but I also don't want you to get sicker because you took something because you thought you were going to suffer. And I just want to make sure that you're doing this like through people that like are doing the right things, So just please don't take retatrutide. Okay. Okay. I said it.
Unless you're in a trial,
Unless you're in a
clinical trial.
trial, like our friend Mimi.
And I
Yeah.
think Eli Lilly is still doing that. So
Yeah.
if
But
I
I
don't
think
know if
that's what's
you're
coming. I
still,
mean, Dave said that, Dave's our news guy, right? And in GLP world. And he was like that it's going through the roof right now. Peptide companies,
but it just goes to show when Eli Lilly lowered those prices
sugar's
for
wearing
the
off.
vials. You what?
My sugar's wearing off. I'm like,
It just goes to show you don't have to charge people $1,200 for your monthly dose. I don't care how fancy that pen is. I'm just saying.
yeah. So you don't.
Right.
You don't care how it's. I
Just
also
goes to
I
show.
hate the pen. Sorry, no offense, but it hurts.
I don't mind the
It
pen,
does.
but the
I
vials are
like
more
the little
fun.
guy. The little
I
guy.
like the vials.
You do like the vials?
I just
Yes,
like to watch it go into my skin because I'm a weirdo.
you are a weirdo. You should get NAD. I do that with NAD. It's fun.
Never used a pen.
Yeah.
So I have no idea.
You
Yeah.
don't know. You've always
used a
found
pen,
them.
Amanda?
Yeah.
You've only used
Yeah.
the pen?
Yeah.
No, I've
Vials are
never
Never.
used the pen.
There
Oh,
are a
good.
lot
Never.
of people who have never used the pen.
I love
Yeah.
doing the vials. I like taking my skin, pinching it,
I
and be
actually like it too. I feel like there's a really weird obsession with shot
Yes.
day.
Shot day.
Like people get so excited about shot day.
Oh.
We're like, happy shot day.
You know why
And
I'm excited about shot day? Because I can eat more. Because my food was.
You're not wrong. Yeah. I'm like, I need to get all my calories in right now, get all that protein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loading up my protein. Like my favorite thing
Please.
to do is get like a steak, baked potato, and a bunch of Brussels sprouts and just go to town. It's delicious.
Really excited about giving
is
myself
for
the
good.
shot though.
Yeah.
I'm
but I
like,
think
oh,
that's
I'm
what it
gonna do it in the
symbolizes.
thigh this time.
I
It's
know,
gonna be weird.
I know. I really think it's the shock value. I think that's why people went viral on TikTok with it in the beginning, because it is very shocking. Like if you look at it on its face, right? You're taking a diabetic medication to lose weight. Like if you don't know anything about this, that's what people thought. In 2022, that's what people thought. Right?
You're taking our medicine.
And so when you're going, look at me, and you're owning it, and you're giving yourself a shot, you know what I mean? It's like the shock value. And that makes, and because the way the algorithm works, especially on TikTok, right? They push that stuff out. And the more engagement it gets, the further it goes. And so I think that there's a certain level of, look at me. I think there's a certain level of, I'm controlling the size of my body for the first time. I'm in control. Me, right? I think there's that, So it is a very, I mean, we have a prescription. We almost did a shot for our logo, right? Because, but we figure eventually there'll be pills. So it's like, it's like, but ultimately I think that people would rather do a shot than a pill. I do.
I
Like,
would.
I
would. Yeah.
honestly, like in terms of B12, I'd rather do a B12 injection than a pill. I don't know why. It's the same thing.
I love B12 injections. I'm like,
I love B12.
I haven't tried one. I do the sublingual like liquid under the tongue.
You do, the shot's better. Also, because it's
so
like
curious now.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, be careful. People charge out the wazoo for it, and if you don't have a deficit, it's just expensive piss. You know what I mean? So it's like we're not, But I like it too. I mean, I think that's what it is. I think it's the shock value, and I think it's the fact that we feel like we're in control, and most of us either haven't been for a long time or have never been. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think ultimately if we follow the rules as is, it should stop, right? Unless you do the custom doses and technically that's supposed to be okay. So I don't know. We'll see.
Not wide
We
scale,
shall
though.
see.
Not wide scale.
Yeah.
It's going to be, yeah, like I don't think it's going to be. So which pharmacy would be able to do the custom doses? 503B, A? Which one is
B.
it?
It's
B?
the B. The B is the one. Okay.
Let me
The B
double
can do the
check.
custom ones.
Yeah, I can't remember either. We'll find out. This is why we follow Dave.
It
Yeah,
Oh,
Dave
on
has
the
all
pen.
the news.
Real quick plug for On the Pen. Listen, Dave is my boy. I've had way too much sugar. Listen, Dave is the bomb, and he always like has like the best information. Like I get my news from Dave. You know what I mean? And like so does Manda. We talk about it all the time. And so if you go follow him, and also he has a really good book. And get the book and be brave and hand it when you see somebody. Like Dave said, like when he saw somebody getting Zepbound and they had all these questions for the pharmacist, and clearly the pharmacist really didn't know, at least not enough to tell you,
Yeah.
things that we know, right? And it'd be so great if you could just hand him the book, right? And so go get the book. And the URL is glp1book.com. So we got to put that in here, glp1book.com. Okay, go get it.
GLP1book.com.
Do you take that to every like business meeting? I would just take that with me and be like, here, take this book.
Spoonie was talking about making like baskets. She was making a basket for a friend who was just starting their GLP-1 journey. And I was like, oh my God, that's genius. We need to do that as a nonprofit. We need to have little like beginner baskets with socks and like.
Because your feet are cold?
Yes, because your feet are cold. And like this book and some protein snacks. And
Let me show you something. You probably don't know about this. This is OG lore. Listen.
Electrolytes. And
people made things in our community. This is a Mounjaro candle. Okay.
I remember those.
It says smells like protein shake, side effects, and savings card struggles. I've never burned it because, it's adorable.
I love it.
People did that though in our community. Some people made journals to like track your shot day and stuff and sell them on like Amazon. We've had lots of people like start little businesses around these things, and it's awesome. I love it. I love it. I love seeing our people just come into their own, because they deserve it, because they're worthy. It just makes me so happy. And when I see them suffer, it just kills me. It keeps me up. I ain't gonna lie. It does, And I think what's sad about it is it's hard not to think that we will always have somebody suffering at some point about this. And it's just so needless. It's just so needless. We have a solution, Anyway, sorry. I'm a little soapboxy tonight. It's because my sugar's coming down. Jeez. I really don't drink sugar. I do drink Gatorade and I'm all right with it. Okay. I've made peace with my maker over it. I'm okay with it.
Having a Diet Coke with the skinny syrup, vanilla in it.
That sounds gross.
It's delicious.
It does sound gross.
Like, yeah.
Mind your business.
Michelle and Kelsey, I don't know if they're OGs too, two of the sweetest humans. And they're like Diet Coke fiends. they're like, and whenever they travel, because they're like influencers, like beauty influencers now and fashion influencers, and when they travel, if they like can't get Diet Coke, they make all these videos about it. It's the cutest thing. Follow Michelle and Kelsey.
That's too funny. Follow Michelle and Kelsey. All right.
So we have a couple more things.
Oh, we do. Great. Oh yes.
Yeah.
We do have tea. Tell me more tea. Hi, tea.
Eli Lilly just announced that they are doing a $27 billion investment to build 4 new manufacturing plants in the US over the next 5 years. And this is obviously to increase production so that they never have to worry about compounding again.
Over the next 5 years? So what are we going to do in the meantime while you're building all this shit? What's happening?
There's going to be other drugs coming to market. So, all right. Get to it, Lily.
So they're aligning with the Trump administration to make sure that they can get this done.
Of course they are. Of course
Which
they are.
is very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think it's, something that Dave says is he's like, I don't care if you think Trump is a, what does he call him? A dusty Cheeto. Right now he's in charge. Like that. So, and I remember seeing this woman that was talking about, she's all about educating about how the food is bad, the bad's food, the food's a demon, all things with the food. Right. And right, it is bad. But regardless, she was like, someone said to her, like, because I think she is liberal or something, like, would you go and talk to the president over blah, 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 blah. And I heard her, she said, I will educate whoever is in office. And I think as advocates, we should try to think of it like that, because that's just how it's how the stupid ass system works right now. Right. And so I think we have to consider that, like, we want to move something forward. We do our best to educate whoever's there, right? Whoever we
And
can.
people have asked me, who would you be willing to work with if it means affordable access for all who need it?
Oh, did I freeze or did you? Whipped cream.
I'm not frozen. Uh-oh, Amanda froze.
Amanda froze. Hold on. She'll be back. I bet I know what she was going to say, but I don't want to take her.
I'm doing we're do the robot.
We're waiting for you, Amanda, to come back and say the cool thing. You're going to laugh your ass off when you watch this back.
Do the robot with us.
All right. She's not back yet. So I'm just going to say what she's going to say. Anybody, because we want change. And sometimes you got to play the game to get the change done when you're thinking big pictures. I know that's what she's going to say, but probably cuter. But I'll say it for her since she's frozen. But she looks so cute where she's frozen. It's a good phrase.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is more tea. Well, wait. She'll be back. She'll see.
We lost her.
That's what she was going to say. I know it. I feel it in my soul. When I met Amanda, I could feel her sincerity and like generosity. Could feel it through the screen. And so please go donate. GLP-1 Collective. Anything that you're going to give to plus sides this month, cancel it. If you do that. And if you do, thank God. But don't do it this month. Go give it to Amanda. Okay? Please.
Exactly.
Amanda started this nonprofit with just a few months into her journey and seeing people lose access. And she and her husband both work at the same company, and that company is closing its doors. And she got the company where it's in tax exempt status, so she can, all the work that she's doing, trying to raise money, and she can make herself an employee. So we want to help them. I'm going to put the link for you to go and donate. She has I think like a GoFundMe and stuff. I think that's where I donated, the GoFundMe. Plus I donated, of course. Kim donated as well. Like, go help. Like, she's moving and shaking, guys. She's gotten media attention super, super early. And we want that. We want Amanda with that fabulous eye makeup right next to that dusty Cheeto.
More eyes on the cause.
Big hands. Are you laughing, Amanda? Right. We want it, right?
Dusty Cheeto. I think so.
I know. Dusty Cheeto. That's what Dave said. Dusty Cheeto. I've never heard that before, but it was really funny. I don't care if you love him or hate him. It's funny. Okay. Anyway, well, I think we lost her. That's sad. Well, let's do bean footage before we go.
Do a little more bean footage here.
It was a low. We didn't have a lot of people here tonight.
Yeah. So
people on Instagram. That's okay. I was bad. I didn't start promoting until yesterday, which is crazy but lots of people watch it on demand. So that's okay.
On demand.
People will get it. And that's what matters.
All right. We're about to roll some beans.
Beans footage.
Food has definitely been a very dominant voice in my head. That's not the main focus anymore. Dieting, exercising, and adding GLP-1s through Roe is a game changer. I have such a sense of mental freedom since I started with Roe. Food no longer controls my thoughts. Family time used to revolve around food, and now it revolves around what we're going to go do together.
I do love that. Right. Oh, let me play this real quick. Today's episode is brought to you by the Roe Body Program. If you've been following along on my GLP-1 journey, you know that managing weight and metabolic health is a huge part of what I advocate for. Roe's approach combines GLP-1 medications and then personalized support,
giving you a tailored solution to help you take control of your health. And it's more than just weight loss. It's about finding the balance and the support that you need for long-term sustainable change. If you're ready to take the step, you can go over to ro.co/plus-sides with a Z and see how Ro can support your journey. That's ro.co/plus-sides. I'll link it here in the show notes. You're not alone. It's not your fault. And thank you to Ro for sponsoring this podcast. We love you. We love you. Also, we want to make sure that you're aware if you're looking for compound tirzepatide, if you cannot afford to pay a monthly fee for a telehealth, another option is Emerge. So it's plus sides is the code there. I will have it either linked in the show notes or in the link tree where you can go and sign up. Right now, it's business as usual for compound until we know different, my friends. Okay. So if you need to go that route, know that also what's cool about Emerge is they do have this community support piece, which is really important to me. And I actually get to be a part of that. I get to be a host. And every week they have hosts that talk about different subjects. I'll probably focus on stuff like, I don't know, maintenance in a big body, or how these medications actually work and why it's not just because you're eating less. And let's talk about diet culture and how fucked up it is. And sorry, Dad, and how much it messed me up. Right. And, so things like that, like that's probably what we'll talk about and stuff over there. So I am very excited to get working with them. And if you are interested in that, it does have a $50 off coupon if you use the link and the code. So please go check that out. It's a very good resource. I've really, really enjoyed working with them, and they do have compound tirzepatide as well. So, but good news, Amanda came back and we can let her finish her bomb.
She's back.
She's back. You froze nicely. You were like, like they say, oh, this freezes beautifully, right? You did. You froze beautifully. You're like,
thank goodness.
So tell us, what were you going to say? So who would you be willing to work with?
Anyone.
Right.
Whoopi Goldberg, Elon Musk, Rosie O'Donnell. Like, I don't care how like polarizing politically they are. I just want everyone to have affordable access.
Same.
So whoever is going to help us help people, that is what matters to me.
Same.
I have one more really interesting thing.
Cool. Tell us.
I haven't really heard anyone talk about it yet, but I haven't been on the socials today.
That sounds like high tea to me. What is it?
There have been 82 deaths linked to GLP-1s in the UK up to 2025, in January 2025. So I just saw an article on this. It was on LinkedIn, and they were talking about link.
LinkedIn enough.
The link is that people were on the medication when they died.
That's it?
Yes.
Oh,
that's it?
Yes.
That's not a
It wasn't like they were being
causation.
hospitalized and dying. They just happened to die while on a GLP-1, and that equals death? That is the biggest bunch of trash I have ever heard.
I don't know.
My God.
Causation.
I know. Look, everybody's like leaning in like,
correlation is not causation. I swear.
Yeah. So they definitely need to be looked into more.
Yeah.
But they were on name brand over in the UK on different Ozempic and Zepbound, Mounjaro, and Wegovy. So yeah.
Live was over.
No, it's not.
Hi, Bear.
Hi, Bear. No. They said hi, Bear.
Oh, hi. I thought I was loved by somebody.
We're almost done. Get lost. Bear in the house. Opening up doors, popping in.
It's so funny how John is like not reclusive, because my husband is like, get that thing out of my face. I'm going in my corner. Leave me alone.
John says all the time. I said, John, do you just like the attention? Because I know we're on social media and everybody likes it. And he goes, no, I just like your attention. And I was like, oh,
okay.
Which is sweet, right? I know. It's adorable.
That's sweet.
I love it.
Well, I just think we'll see that article out there, and people talking about people dying, and I'm just so everyone knows.
That was the connector. They happened to be on a medicine when they kicked the bucket. And how many were there?
82, and that was leading up to January 2025. So this is like over a really long period of time. And this article that I was looking at, they were like, safety and we need to make sure that this is being regulated. And I'm just like,
I swear the narrative, and like, I'm going to tell you, listen, since we're all here, the problem, in my opinion,
with why we're all at odds so bad is social freaking media, because the algorithm favors extremism. So we don't ever see anything in the middle. And it's a problem. And if you don't believe me, go hear the people that literally invented how to make money on all of these platforms talk about it on The Social Dilemma on Netflix. I get no money for saying that. I'm just saying, think about it. And the reason I want you to think about it is because I want you to be the critical thinker that I know you are anytime you see these things. And I want you, when people say this crazy shit to you, for you to go, and make them critically think. Because if not, we're all doomed. We have to stop and we have to listen to each other. And that's always been my message in general. Screw politics. Y'all know how I feel. Like, ultimately, we have to listen to each other, especially about things like this, right? With healthcare and people's lives. It's really important. So there's that rant, but that's why. It's all the extremism. And people are, this guy made this video and he was like, why are you guys all following NBC? They're the man, right? Kind of crap. Block them immediately because he gives news on TikTok, right? And I'm like, and I stitched him. And I was like, you know what? If we don't follow everyone at this point, it's a problem because we can't be critical thinkers. We need to hear all sides, because that whole bought and paid for thing of mainstream media, that's on TikTok too. That's on TikTok too, because creators are incentivized to make extreme content because it gets views because of the way the human mind works. And all of this is in The Social Dilemma. Please go watch it. And so then that behavior is rewarded, right? As opposed to spreading something down the middle, right? Or both sides at the same time, which what I feel like is what news and media used to be. It's not anymore. It's got everybody's opinion in it and everybody's paycheck in it, you know? So just all I'm saying, just open your heart, just be critical thinkers, just try to like be in a place to receive and like give some knowledge back to people, and maybe we can get through this shit alive. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Hopefully alive.
Hopefully alive. Bean footage, yes.
Yeah, are we?
Also, because Amanda's back now, make sure you go to glp1collective.com and donate. Okay? $5. $5.
Oh, there she is. Then you're back.
Yes. And go follow this podcast because she also interviews people like we do, but I can't get to everybody, guys. There's millions and millions of us. Hundreds of millions of us. Like, there's so many of us. I can't get to everybody. So we have other podcasts that help with this. Dave's show, Amanda's show, Tiffany's got a show. Lots of people have shows. It's great. Go. Okay. So I'm going to put all of the links either in the show notes or in the link tree in the show notes. So look and go do that. Okay. All right. Bean footage. No, we already did bean footage, didn't we? So we just need to do the out.
Yeah. It's going to be out. Outros,
all right.
guys.
We love you. We will see you in 2 weeks. Do not forget, it will be awesome. And we will also see you next week, regularly scheduled programming.
Mm-hmm.
I should go to bed. That was a big sugar crash. Man, that was like a volcano. Woo! And then I'm like, whoa, like, dang.
I'm outroing you.
Are you interested in understanding GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro? Then join us on the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, the groundbreaking podcast helping people change their lives one episode at a time. The Plus Sides podcast is a disruptor. We're breaking down barriers, smashing stereotypes, and sharing inspiring stories that'll leave you feeling informed and empowered. Join us every week to learn from doctors who are specialists around GLP-1 medications like Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro. They'll provide you with science and facts to validate these incredible stories. But that's not all. We'll also bring you the voices of the GLP-1 Mounjaro TikTok community, real people who face the challenges of obesity-related diseases and disorders and discovered the incredible plus sides of GLP-1 medications. Our episodes are filled with heartwarming stories, laughter, and moments of triumph. You'll connect with our amazing community members who are reclaiming their health and experiencing their fullest lives. Are you ready to embark on a journey of discovery and empowerment? Tune in to the Plus Sides, Cracking the Obesity Code, and together we'll change the narrative around obesity and end the stigma. Subscribe now on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform and join our incredible community. Let's celebrate the plus sides of life together, because every story deserves to be heard. Every life deserves to shine, and everyone deserves access to expert knowledge and medication. The Plus Sides Podcast. You're not alone. It's not your fault. It's been a great show. We love you. We'll see you next week and the next week and the next week.
We'll see you. Debbie.
Hasta la pasta. In live stream.